You can't just stop paying without warning. What are we supposed to do? Hello to you too, Mom, I said, keeping my voice calm. And I'm giving you warning now. I won't be making any more payments. You can't do this to us. We're your parents. You have an obligation. I don't actually, I interrupted. I've been helping voluntarily because I thought we were a family who supported each other. But after learning that you and Dad are leaving everything to Tyler and Tiffany, I realized this arrangement isn't fair to me. This is about the will, she huffed. I knew it. You're just greedy and jealous. Your father and I raised you better than this. No, Mom. This is about respect. I've spent years helping all of you financially, and in return I get cut out of the will and insulted at dinner. I'm done being the family piggy bank. I hung up before she could respond, my hands shaking. The calls started coming in almost immediately, first my mother again, then my father, then both twins. I let them all go to voicemail. Their messages ranged from tearful pleas to vicious insults. Jasmine, please, Dad begged in one message. They can't make the mortgage without you. Go lose the house. You selfish bastard, Tyler snarled in another. Mom's crying because of you. Hope you're happy. After 2 days of this, I blocked all their numbers. I needed peace. A week later, my phone started ringing with calls from relatives I barely spoke to, first my Aunt Linda, then my cousin Steve, even my father's brother who lived in Arizona. Apparently, my mother had been busy spreading her version of events. Your mom says you're trying to make them homeless, Aunt Linda said when I finally answered one of her calls. What's going on, honey? I took a deep breath and explained the situation, the will, the dinner, and most importantly, the fact that I've been paying their mortgage for 4 years without anyone in the family knowing. That can't be right, she said, sounding genuinely confused. Your mom told everyone you just helped them with the down payment. I paid every single mortgage payment since they bought the house, I replied. Plus extra for bills. You could ask them yourself. Similar conversations followed with other relatives. Some sided with me, some with my parents. A few refused to believe I'd been financially supporting my parents at all, insisting I was lying to make myself look better. Fed up with the whispers and accusations, I finally posted a detailed explanation on Facebook, laying out the financial support I'd provided over the years and why I decided to stop. I added it with, I love my family, but I can't keep subsidizing their lifestyle while being treated as an outsider. It's time for me to prioritize my own future. The post generated dozens of supportive comments, but also plenty of criticism. Some relatives thought I was wrong to air family business publicly. Others suggested I should keep paying the mortgage regardless of the will situation because they're still your parents. A month passed without any contact from my family. I'd started to think maybe they'd finally accepted my decision and moved on. Work was busy as usual, and I was finally enjoying the financial freedom of not supporting for extra adults. I'd even put a deposit down on that trip to Italy I'd been dreaming about for years. But peace never lasts long in my family. It was a Tuesday when I got the assignment to oversee a project in Sacramento. The company had just completed construction on a medical office building, and they needed someone to handle the final inspections and client walkthrough. It's just 3 days, my boss assured me. You'll fly out Wednesday morning and be back Friday night. I packed lightly, just a carry-on suitcase with the essentials and my laptop. The trip went smoothly. The client was thrilled with the building. The inspections passed with only minor issues to address, and I even managed to enjoy a nice dinner at a local restaurant recommended by the concierge at my hotel. By Friday afternoon, I was on a flight back home, feeling accomplished and ready for a relaxing weekend. When I finally arrived at my apartment building around 800 p.m., the first thing I noticed was that something looked off about my door from down the hallway. As I got closer, my stomach dropped. The entire door frame was covered in expanding foam, the kind that hardens into a solid mass. Someone had deliberately sprayed it all around my door, making it impossible to insert my key or open it from the outside. What the hell? I muttered, setting down my suitcase and touching the foam. It was completely hardened. There was no way I was getting into my apartment without professional help. I pulled out my phone and called the building's emergency maintenance number, but got voicemail. Next, I tried the building manager, who answered on the 4th ring. Mitchell, what can I do for you? Someone vandalized my apartment door, I explained, trying to keep my voice steady. They sprayed it with expanding foam. I can't get in. There was a pause on the other end. That's unusual. I'll call our locksmith service, but it might be a couple hours before they can get there. It's Friday night. I ended up sitting in the hallway next to my luggage for nearly 3 hours before a sleepy-looking locksmith arrived with his tools. He whistled when he saw my door. Someone really didn't want you getting in, he observed as he assessed the damage. This is going to be tricky. It took him almost an hour to cut away enough of the phone to access the lock mechanism. By midnight, I was finally able to enter my apartment, exhausted and furious. Once inside, I went straight to my laptop. I had installed a security camera in my hallway after a package had been stolen 6 months earlier. The camera was aimed directly at my front door and uploaded footage to a cloud server I could access remotely. I found the relevant time frame and started the playback. At first, there was nothing, just an empty hallway. Then around 200 p.m. On Thursday, a familiar figure appeared, Tyler. My brother was wearing a baseball cap pulled low over his eyes and had his hoodie up, but I'd recognize his walk anywhere. He looked both ways down the hallway, then pulled a can from his backpack and began spraying the foam around my door frame. He worked methodically, making sure to cover every inch of the lock and the seam where the door met the frame. When he was done, he stepped back to admire his work, then hurried away. I watched the footage 3 times, my anger building with each viewing. This wasn't just petty revenge, this was criminal vandalism, and it would cost thousands to repair properly. The next morning I took the video footage to the local police station and filed a formal complaint against my brother. Do you have any idea why he would do this? The officer asked as she took my statement. Financial disputes, I said simply. I didn't feel like explaining my entire family drama to a stranger. The officer nodded and continued typing. We'll have someone contact him for questioning. In the meantime, do you have somewhere safe to stay, if you're concerned about your safety? I'll be fine, I interrupted. I just want him held accountable for the damage. 3 days later, I received a call from the same officer. Ms. Mitchell, we brought your brother in for questioning. He initially denied everything, but when we showed him the video footage, he admitted to vandalizing their door. Good, I said, feeling a grim satisfaction. What happens now? They've charged him with criminal mischief and property damage. Given the cost of repairs, it's a more serious charge. He could be looking at fines and possibly probation. I thanked her and hung up. Almost immediately, my phone rang again. It was a number I didn't recognize, but I answered anyway.